Welcome, everybody, to Office 365 Pulse with Jennifer Ann Mason. Take it away, Jen.
Hey guys. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay, and I think we're ready to switch over to my sway if you want to. If you want to make that, I'll start to share that. So, hope everyone is doing well. We have got a couple of updates to share today, and then we were gonna bust through and do a demo of the video portal that's there. So we've talked about that a little bit, and on some previous shows, people said they wanted to see a demo of that. So we are going to roll through all of the new updates and then stop and take a look at the video portal. So as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the questions for the presenters or in the chat window, and we can go through it. So here we go. So today's sway. No guest host with me today. You guys are just on your own with just me. So it was a little bit difficult to get people coordinated today. Actually, a lot of the community is coming back from a conference out in Canada. So I think even Dan was out in Canada this week. So a lot of people are kind of traveling en route today. So you guys just get me. I do have a great co-host coordinated for my next show. I am bringing in a coworker who is um, responsible for our internal SharePoint environment. So she's going to come in and talk about some of her tricks of the trade, what she does to manage everybody. So I'm super super excited about that. And she's a fun one because she's every day just doing things with the organization. So I think you guys will really like kind of hearing from her and can probably really relate to her very well. So we've got that coming up, I believe, on the 26th, and we'll have a link for that to register at the end as always. But today's updates, we have a couple of fun things here. So the first big one is that the Compliance Center is coming to first release. So there's been a lot of talk about this. It's actually we've covered it a few times on the show, but it hasn't rolled out to a lot of the different tenants yet. And I know my own personal tenants, I haven't seen the Compliance Center yet. If anybody does have it, feel free to give us some feedback in the chat window, but it's coming out. It's a way that you can keep policies, procedures. It's going to have all of those different things for managing content in more compliance focused ways. So we've seen constant improvement in this area from Microsoft. And so the Compliance Center will be hitting. I'm hoping as soon as we have that available, maybe that can be one of the demos that we can see. So if you guys would be interested in seeing a demo of that, let me know and we can try to pull that together just as soon as I can get my hands on it. I've been trying for a couple of weeks, but haven't been able to successfully get my hands on it, but close. Should be there close. Um, yeah, and just a reminder, if you guys are watching, there's a control over here that you can take it to full screen. So it's like four little arrows. And if you click that, it will go to full screen. So if you want to see a full screen of the sway, or if you want to see a full screen when we do the demo, that's the best way to do that. And then the screen won't be taken up with all of the other things. So the other new feature that they have is improved right-click behavior on items. And so what this is going to do, I'm actually going to open this up in Office Blogs because I think it gives us some great screenshots of what's coming. They are reducing some of the clicks that you have when you right-click on something, reducing some of the items in the drop-down that I think cause a lot of confusion. Actually, I need to open this one up in the message center. I'll open that link in just a minute because that's actually on the OneDrive blog. So this is another example of why it's good that we have this show because I thought that it was on the Office blogs. It's actually on the OneDrive blog, and I guess the OneDrive blog doesn't roll up to the Office blogs, so you have to be paying attention to lots of different areas when they have it. But I'll find that link quick and then I can show it. But they've got different features that you can see that are going to allow you to, instead of getting a lot of information, they're giving you just a little bit of information. And so the most common items are rolling up to the top, and then other items are going to be under an advanced tab. So maybe you don't use versioning every day. Maybe you don't use some of these features that are there all the time. See, I found it. This one was in the message center. Um, So the blog post should be coming up. So here we go. So here's some updated screenshots of what is supposedly coming, but you're going to be able to get some better options for right clicking. So I definitely file this under something that is interesting and neat and easy to use. Um, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about them taking and kind of cleaning up that UI. So it's going to be hitting in OneDrive and then should also be hitting into document libraries. They've also got some new things about search. And so when you start searching, let's say in this example, I'm even putting in sales, it's going to find anything that has to do with sales that I've authored or that has been shared with me. So I think as we're looking at ways that people are going to be looking for and finding content, it's going to become a lot simpler for people to be able to find things that are relevant to what they're looking for, even with search. So a much improved um, experience with that. And then finally, this one's hit or miss. Be interesting if you guys have any thoughts on it or feelings. But instead of having a list of items for documents that we have recently touched, we are going into this card sorting cataloging thingy. So instead of seeing um, a list of all my recent documents, I'm going to see the little card searches. So it's going to be the preview of the document, who's using it, very much like what we get with Delve. So I thought this was pretty interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about this one yet. There's a lot of comments, even in this blog post to Eric, that say, how do we turn this off and how do we get it straight back to a list if I don't want that? And so I think that we got our first taste with Delve, and now we're going to continue to get this all the time, this card image of different things. So Eric asked if we can control what's on there. This is recent. So these are going to be the documents that were recently modified by you. So it's kind of like your own personal recently touched documents. And so you can't really control it. It's controlled by your most common things. But then you can filter down and see all of your documents, what you're following, and what's shared with you. So that's kind of how that one works. This one has not rolled yet. It's been announced that it's coming in the message center. And so it's going to be just one of those ones that shows up. Eric asked if it's created by the Office graph. I can't speak to that and say for sure that it's created by it, but it certainly looks like it. So that actually might be a question that I can take back to Rubin and ask him if it's running off of that. I don't think that they really say that it's here, but I can definitely follow back up on that one. But it definitely looks like it is. Um, it does. And then the final thing is that they, oh, that's awesome. David sees it already on his Office 365 site. So that's kind of neat. So, David, did you get the message a while back, I'm wondering, or if it just kind of popped up? I know they do things in stages, so everyone's tenant's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so David said it just showed up. So, David, it'd be interesting. Have your users had any issues with it or any concerns, or has it just kind of been like same old, same old? Most people probably wouldn't even notice, I would think, um, but maybe they would. So, and then the last one that they have is creating a folder. Um, okay, so David said he's just piloting, so it's all new, so they probably wouldn't notice the differences there. All right, very cool. That's interesting. So I am curious to see how people are using it, if they're going to just be like, whoa, this is different, and if it's different enough that it matters, or if it's different enough that they can navigate through it. This one kind of feels like different enough that they can navigate to it, or navigate through it to me. At least that's kind of the impression that I get with it. And then the last one I was saying is that they have a folder. So when you create a new folder now, you can automatically invite people to share that folder when you create it. So instead of having to create a folder and then go share it with folks, you can just create the folder and share it at the same time. So I think that one's a good feature that's there as well. I believe that one's already shown up in my tenant. So there's a couple of different features that are out there. I think they're all interesting to note. Could create some help desk questions for you if things just change on your users, but those are definitely changes that are coming. So things to kind of look out for. Um, all right, so let's head back over to our Sway right now, and that kind of covers the updates in the message center that we've seen. The next thing we have some new feature updates. Again, last week was a little bit slow with updates, and I think this week there's a good bit of updates, but they're not overly super exciting as some of the ones we've had in the last couple of weeks. But Power BI, if you are a Power BI user, there are now some more updated features. I think Power BI is going to win my award for being the most updated thing in Office 365. I think every week there is a new Power BI update. I think there's always something changing, always something new, and it seems to be enhancements of features that are already there versus total brand new features. So I think it's awesome. So if you're doing these different things with Power BI, these are great new features for you to check out. We do have Jason Himmelstein on the hook to come. He was traveling this week, so he couldn't make it, but probably in a couple of weeks, Jason's going to be able to join us and he's going to actually show us some of these Power BI features that are going and show you how you can use them and different things like that. So he's going to prepare some demos for us, and I'm really looking forward to getting to spend some time with Jason for that. So you can be on the lookout for that. It's probably going to be later this month or early April. I think that we're going to be able to get that one scheduled. The next update is a complete developer update. Again, I shared on this show, we don't really talk about syntax and semicolons because I have an extreme allergy to syntax and semicolons. However, it's good to know what my developers can be doing. And so there's been just some changes for how they can call JavaScript in Office 365 that make development a lot easier. So that was very big news this week. Um, and it's just the development platform of Office 365 is constantly evolving to allow us to build and develop new tools and new features. So again, probably not something that everybody's going to take advantage of, especially on this call since we're kind of more focused on that power user stuff. But I believe it's something that our developer friends can get really excited about and really embrace. Um, and so Eric was saying, I hope Scott writes something about that. Yeah, me too. I think that would be really cool. And then maybe on a future show or something like that, it could be something that could get covered if there's a dev type show focus. And so very interesting stuff there. Um, the next two are all about non-platform changes. So, right, these are things. So there is a. I'm not exactly sure how you can say it because this is the first time I've been familiar with this partner, but it's I think it's Obindo, and they're a Google Chrome extension that is going to let you take something from Gmail and send it directly to OneNote. So I do this a lot with Outlook, right? So I'm in Outlook, I have something that's important to me, something I want to see, and I want to quick do a send to OneNote so I can open it up in OneNote and find what I need. Well, OneNote, I guess, in part of the process of making software a first-class citizen across any device, it's about the software. It's not necessarily that you're forced to use one device over another, but it's about making the software available to everybody. That's kind of Microsoft's mantra right now. And I guess as part of that, they have teamed up with Obindo, and then they've got some new features that are coming there that have some of those different pieces that they can go do. So that's going to be a tool that you can go get in the store now that's going to allow you to work with that. So great stuff there. You can send it to OneNote or to Yammer directly from your inbox. So another great tool there. I don't really use Gmail at all. So I don't have a lot of feedback on that, but if you have some people that are using that in your org, it might be important for you to see that. And then finally, our last big update that hit is the Office 2016 for the Mac. The preview is here. So if anybody um, if anybody has a Mac out there, they can go download the 2016 preview and start experiencing the new Office. So I know those with Macs have been waiting for this. I have a couple of coworkers that I sent them immediately when I saw it came out and said, all right, guys, go download this one. So hopefully some people within your org can kind of take advantage of that. So those are our big updates, not anything too spectacular or crazy. I would not be surprised if the update flow slows down quite a bit between now and Ignite in May. So we're getting up to be the end of March. I don't expect too many crazy changes to come in April. And then I expect it to hit like gangbusters again in May. So that's my own personal prediction. I don't know if it will really turn out that way, but we'll keep you guys up to date on all the changes that are coming. Um, we're taking a break next week from the show. I have some some locations that I need to be at. So oh, Eric said there's a Mac in his house, but he wants to wait for the real release. I'm telling you, Eric, live on the edge, man. just go ahead and put it on there. What can it really hurt? I'm just kidding. I say that for other people, but like I said, I'm not running Windows 10 on my laptop yet because my husband gets so mad at it. So um, I'll just tease Eric a little bit about that. But if you do put it on there, Eric will make you get on the show and talk about it and tell us what you think about it. So all good things there. Let's see. So next, we're going to just jump into the video portal overview. So I kind of just want to set it up. And hopefully you guys have seen this before. If not, this will be a good exposure to you guys. If you guys have any questions, please just throw them up in the question box and we'll kind of go through them. But the video portal goes back to Julia White's latest blog post that she put out about the evolution of SharePoint. And she talks through how basically over the years, they've seen inside of SharePoint people put a lot of the same consistent things across of it. So think of it, how many people use SharePoint to create a team collaboration site? How many people use it to create an internet? How many people tried to use it to create like a video portal or something like that? Very common themes across different orgs, but that you couldn't do it directly out of the box. You had to create a SharePoint site, then you had to do all of these customizations, make all of these changes, and then it was ready to go. And so what they're doing now is going after this concept of next generation portals. And these are going to be experiences that are ready to go. So instead of taking weeks, months, years to build, you're going to be able to pull it directly out of the box and just start working with it. So it's kind of a load and go. It kind of does what it does. There's not a ton of changes that you can make to it, but it fills a very common need over a specific solution. And the first portal that they put out was the Office 365 video portal. Now, this one we talked about, I think, last week how they made some updates to it. They've got it out right now in first release, but there are still some limitations with it, that it has some dependencies on Flash, which makes it difficult to play videos across all portals. But we've seen on the roadmap that that's one of the updates that they're going to be making to it soon. So it's one of these coming soon things that the iPhone app should be coming for it, as well as being able to play it across different devices without having to have any issue. It should work the same. So the Office 365 video portal is an internal only portal. So this means you have to have an Office 365 username to be able to use it. This is not something that you could share with external users or that you could share with people outside of your organization, but it's something that can be used internal. And it's a partnership with Office 365 and Azure Media Services. And so basically, in a kind of a summary of what happens is you upload a video to the Office 365 portal. There's a handoff that happens behind the scenes and it goes into Azure Media Services and gets processed, and then information gets sent back to the Office 365 portal so the video can be stored. And then when you click on it to render it, it checks your permissions, makes sure everything's there, and then provides you a secure way to view the video. So we're actually going to hop over right now and I'm going to show you a video portal. So from my site navigation, I can come over here, and as long as I have Office 365 first release turned on, I should see video portal within 24 hours as part of that suite navigation. So it just shows up here as my video site, and I can click on it and it's going to take me into my video portal. I'd love to know if anybody in the audience is using the video portal, is playing with it. I know a couple of guys said that they were doing with it. So yeah, so David said he's playing with it, and he's finding that there's a separate site collection that gets created for each video channel. So that's where it gets interesting, David. It completely is that way. And so what he's talking about with channels is the way you have your homepage, which you can think of your homepage as a roll-up of all of these quote-unquote channels. And channels are areas where you can put videos. So if I come over here and I see my channels, I'm going to see a list of all of the different channels that I want to store videos from. Behind the scenes, under the covers, different site collections are getting created. Now, what's interesting about this is that they are site collections in theory, and if you go to the site admin, you can see them as site collections, but you can't interact with them like you would interact with a different site collection. So David, you can't really go and create new list or libraries in there. You can't act with it like you would with a regular one, but there's some type of, magic or secret sauce in the background that's making it all work. Um, they're doing a lot with managing quotas and different things like that across it to try to keep everything going. And so I don't know if there's specific technical reasons why they chose to architect it this way, but it kind of is the way it's architected now, and we can't really tweak that or change how the way that works. Your quotas for this, though, that's kind of brings up that point is you can have as many videos inside of the video portal as your Office 365 um, subscription or tenant supports. So if you had 100 gig of videos that you wanted to put in here, you would have to make sure you had enough storage allocation so that you had 100 gig to put them. So it's going to go against the quota. Yeah, David, magic secret sauce. I don't know how. I mean, how else can we say it, right? They don't really tell us how it works, but we kind of know it's working. There's a lot of that going on with some of these things right now that I just kind of look at and go, I think that looks like a duck. It's quacking like a duck and it's walking like a duck, but it is totally a chicken. And I don't quite understand it. I'm just kind of going with it, rolling with it, and putting a little trust in them and seeing what happens. But so you have these different channels. You can create new channels. So I can come over here and I can add a channel. And when I go to add a channel, I can give it a name and then I can pick a color. Um, right now, this is pretty basic. There's nothing super spectacular about what you can do here. It gives you a list of channels. You cannot, um, oops, I already have a test. So let's do test 2. Can't really change this homepage or anything along those lines. But that goes back to the point of it being what they call a ready to go or a railed solution. The idea is that we can kind of use it as it is, and it's powerful enough to get us started with saving us months and months of development time and weeks of development time. So we should just be able to use it and go. You have to love live demos when you come and you hit it and you get that error. So let's see test 22. We'll pick a color and see if we can get it to work this time. See if I can make the demo gods not angry with me for whatever reason. All right. Okay. So it's going to go through and create the channel. One thing I would say about the video portal in first release is I find it a little bit slow. Sometimes there's certain things that I'll do, like maybe create a channel and that's when I go get a cup of coffee. Or I do different things, and I'm hoping as we get into actual production release and it's in GA that it improves a little bit. So I'm kind of looking in and watching some of those things. Also uploading videos, when you upload a video, it can take a while to get it processed. And so those are some things that we have going on in the background. I'm going to let that go and just show you some of the things that I have. Within each one of the channels, if I click on it, I'm going to see all of the videos that are in there. So this one, I have just one video. It's right there. If I go to some of the other ones, oh, the demos are not happy with me right now. Okay, give it just a second, see what happens. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here we go. We're going to try again and go in and look at our channels. Eric asked why we're waiting this. Do the videos from here show up in the Office graph results and then show up in Delve? Yep, so as you're putting in videos here and sharing them with different people and people have rights to access them, they will show up and be displayed as Delve. So they're all integrated into Sharepoint Search, which is one of the great features with it. So if I click on this channel, let's see if it's going to open for me. Yep, so we have some of these up here. I see what videos are here. I can also come over here and go to my video channel settings. And so when I go to these video channel settings, I can come in here and there's actually a spotlight area. And so what they've done is they've given me a grid of where I can put spotlight videos. And so I can come over here and when I click on it, it's going to pull up my different videos and I can come over here and make them spotlight videos. And what that does is then on my home page of the channel, it's going to display those spotlight videos up at the top. So if I come back, let's try to hit back again, see if that works. Now I see for Tech Ed Europe channel, see that I've got 2 videos and I've got my spotlight. So it builds that out for me and I don't have to do any of the work to build that out. And likewise, on my home page, I also have a spotlight area. So I can't really customize what videos show up where in terms of like I can't make this be 2 small ones and this be 1 large one. So I have to kind of lay it out the way that they have it laid out for me. But the beauty of it is that it's done and it looks pretty professional from the get-go. Now, it won't solve everyone's needs all of the time, but it's a really good start. So you don't have to put in a lot of effort and you can get started in something that would traditionally take a very long time to do. So I think it is a great way to get started with stuff. Also, when I have a video and I go in to play it, so I'm going to go click to play, there's some really cool things that they're doing with how they're editing it right now. So my video is going to start to play in just a second. And as it's playing through, I can actually, let's see, let me get it to start and then I'll pause it so it doesn't talk over me. It's going to go through. You can see it and it starts to playing. So I'm going to just pause this guy here. But I've got my controls. So I can come over here and go all the way to the middle of it and then it's going to catch up. It's buffering it. It's going to catch up and let me do that there. There we go. So it's going to do that there, as well as I've got my timestamps and different things like that. This is all powered by Azure Media Services. And Azure Media Services is actually what controls and does the things for like Xbox Live launches, and then they also did the Olympics. So that is pretty powerful stuff. I mean, so the things that you're using to show your videos internally are also the things that are backing these super powerful solutions. So you've got a lot of power behind you. And this is one of the benefits of using Office 365 and relying on the Microsoft Cloud to give you more bang for your buck and give you more oomph to go and do that. So it's part of Office 365, but you're not having to use extra technologies for it. It's just kind of there for you. Um, Also, while the video is playing, you can come down here and say edit, and you can change the title of it and you can put in the description. You could do this while it was playing. So for right now, the only metadata that you can have on a video is title and description. So when they first came out and started talking about video portals, some of the screenshots they showed included some extra metadata. And so I think we're going to see that coming over time. But for right now, search and everything is done from the content that's in the description field and the content that's in the title. So if you guys remember, I'm trying to look at the chat window too. If you guys have any questions come up, go ahead and send them over here. I try to keep glancing over there every once in a while to see. And it looks like Suzanne made us. So welcome, Suzanne. She's our number 1 Pulse attendee. So glad to have you in the audience again today, Suzanne. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in there and we'll kind of get through them as I see them come up. Again, we just wanted to create a pretty simple way for you guys to get access to and see some of these features and get some of your questions answered. So we have these different things here. It's also going to automatically tell me videos I may like based on the metadata and some algorithms that are going on in the back end here. There's also, it's telling me how many people have viewed it. I have very low viewer stats on these because this is a demo site that my hubby and I share. And so really it's just the 2 of us looking at videos when we do demos. But neither here nor there. That's kind of where they're, and they're all videos that we pulled off of Channel 9. So that's kind of how we created the site for demoing. All right, so again, we can go home and see that this is a very simplistic feature. There's some things you can do with securities. So security and setting who can maintain channels and stuff like that. So for the video portal, you can say who can manage the home page and change permissions and who can create channels. Is there some, okay, so there's a question in the audience is there some guidelines to get good video quality, like format and different things like that? I do have a slide that I can try to pull up. Give me just a second. That talks about all the formats that are supported. And so you could look at that. And then the other thing I'd say to look into that is to probably head over to the Azure Media Services, and look and see if maybe there is guidelines or standards that they have for recommendations of doing it. But they should be able to handle quite a plethora of video sources. So I just put a slide up here. Um, that shows all of the different formats that they can handle in the transcoding. So lots of different things that you have here for what they have. So it is a pretty standard format across different video standards and different things like that. But that's a great question, Martin. I know, like just from experience, smaller videos render faster and quicker and all of those things. But even larger videos, once I get them up there and processed, it's actually relying on Azure Media Services to do the streaming. So you're storing it in SharePoint. SharePoint's got the metadata, and I'm accessing it through SharePoint. But when I click play the video, it's relying in on the features of Azure Media Services, and it's letting that power that streaming instead of having to rely on SharePoint. So if you ever tried to build something like this in a previous version of SharePoint, and you were putting videos inside of like a SharePoint assets library or even a video library instead of SharePoint, and you were depending on SharePoint to do that playback, it could get pretty painful. So this is kind of an alternate solution that's pairing the best of technologies together. Oh, that's a really good question now. Okay. So kind of hitting back to permissions, then you can pick people who can create channels. Once you do that, and you're inside of a channel, inside of each channel, you also have the ability to go and set um, who has permissions inside of that channel to set up articles or something, or set up videos and different things like that. So the video channel settings, you can go in and set some of those same features. So you can set your permissions, who can view and who can edit. So if you look at the roadmap of what's coming for Office 365, they're actually going to add another level of granularity to this to let it have a little bit more control. And so that is something that we know is coming in the future. We don't have a ton of new details about it, but they have heard feedback on that and are definitely addressing that and different things along those lines. From the home page as well, one last thing I should mention about the home page is that you can set what channels you want to have displayed. Let me go back home. What channels you want to have displayed on that homepage. So popular is going to show up at the top, and popular is going to be based on what people are clicking, what they are watching. And then we've got, SPC. Those are the channels that we have listed there. But under my video portal settings, I can set features, like I can set the spotlight, which of the 3 channels do I want to appear on that homepage. So it's different ways that I can push information out to my users. So that's kind of all I wanted to show. A very quick overview. I think we've kind of had limited new releases today, and without a co-host, I talk super fast. So I'd love to open it up if you guys have any questions or anything that you guys kind of want to talk through for different things like that we have. So if we get some questions, we can put it there. Otherwise, and they don't have to be related to the video portal. They can, or it can be other new Office 365 features. Let's see if you guys have anything. We'll give that another couple of seconds, and if we don't have anything pop up, then we can end today's show a little bit early because we were able to cover all the content. So we'll give you guys a question, or give you guys a couple minutes and see if any questions come up. Oh, Thomas, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm trying to keep it quick and helpful so you guys can see what it is. And I'm very, very easy to get in touch with, especially on Twitter and different things like that. So if you think of anything after the fact, just go ahead and send it my way. I see that in the chat box, I can see that a couple of different people are typing. So yeah, David, I'm looking forward to the new enhancements too. And when those hit, I'm going to see if we can't get Mark Cashman, who kind of owns them from that marketing perspective. Okay. Oh, that's really cool, Thomas. You guys are building a training video site. Are you guys building it in Office 365 or on Prem? Um, more, oh, I know, David. More metadata, like at least keywords or something like that would be awesome if they could do it. I'm also super excited. Like, if this is the first taste we get of what next generation portals are, then I am super excited to see what is going to be coming. I know they're going to announce some at Ignite, so I am super excited to see what those are going to be. Because if we can start doing these things with less work, it makes me miss other tools maybe a little bit less. So I'm super excited about that. Um, so Thomas has got short targeted training videos that him and Sandra record via Snagit and then need to store somewhere. This is exactly what something like that would be perfect for. A training, and yeah, Spark University, that's kind of fun. This would be perfect for something like that. Oh, the dreaded question. Can you use the video portal on Prem? Well, no. So, they have said um, they have said that this is not something that they're bringing on prem. This is an experience that is completely in the cloud. So it is something that you have to be using Office 365 for. What they have said is that moving forward, they are going to be looking for ways to make it a more hybrid experience so you can consume it differently. So I think they're hearing that feedback that people wanted on Prem. I just don't know what the answer is going to be, but they have said that the roadmap has some futuristic things about having a hybrid solution or something along those lines. So definitely something that my ears to the ground for, because there's a lot of people I know that could use this, and we'll kind of see um, where it's at. David said, oops, if you delete the hub site collection, you're going to mess everything up. Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So I'm glad you were able to get it back from the recycle bin. So, um, oh, Suzanne asked about what about iframing into on-prem. I think it's all going to depend. I think anything you would do right now to make it work could end up being one of those kludgy pieces, right? So you might be able to make it work, but I wouldn't hold my breath because it might also mess up. So it's just it's one of those things that you might be able to make something like that work, but for that full experience, you're really going to want to go on-prem. Um, Mike asked, is there any integration or talk thereof with the video portal and Yammer for comments? Yes, I don't know where that has ended. It's the intention. It's not necessarily listed in the roadmap as immediate things that they're working on, but the idea is that this is just content that's in there. Then you can use the other channels to discuss them, different things like that. It's already made its way back into Delve. Um, but the idea would be that you can watch this video and then have comments with it and different things like that. So I think they're going to get there, Mike. They haven't officially announced anything like that, and they don't have any specific line items on the roadmap, but I think that's the intent of what they're trying to do. They're also trying to get it more integrated into regular systems. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Office Mix, but Office Mix is basically like a PowerPoint add-on that you can record things. In fact, Thomas and Suzanne, you guys might really want to check that out as a tool in addition to Snagit, or maybe combined with Snagit, where you could put and develop these classes together. You could use Mix, and you can use Mix to then publish directly to the Office 365 video portal. Another question Eric asked if I think this will be in the SharePoint Server 2016 release. Um, Judging by things that have been said, I'm going to guess no, because they've said this is going to be a solely online solution. It's an online experience that they're not planning on bringing to the cloud or bringing on-prem, that they're going to keep it in the cloud and just create a better hybrid solution. So maybe a better hybrid solution will come in 2016, but I don't believe the video stuff. There's no indication that the video stuff could be coming down. But then again, as it is with SharePoint 2016, none of us know until we know, and until we don't know, we're all guessing. So I would say that I have no authority to speak on it fully, but my guess would be no. So all super great questions. I enjoy this group. You guys have lots of good questions for me. So if you have any more, you guys can post them into the group. Otherwise, I'm going to give you guys 20 minutes of your day back. And um, I think Lyman is going to put up the link to the next registration that we have. So, and then also a feedback form if you guys give us feedback on the show. We try to keep it interesting on how we can do different things. And so definitely want to keep that in mind for you guys. So you guys can go ahead and wrap up if you guys have any other questions. And then, oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I don't know which Dan that is. Is that Aloha Dan? Is that our Dan from Hawaii? But if it is, hello, and I'm sorry you missed it. But it will be recorded and available on IT Unity if you did miss it, so you can catch back and see the demos that are there. So thanks everybody. It's been such a fun day. I know I hate daylight savings time. Let's get rid of it. Thanks, guys.